So this is lesson 3.3, example 4, and we are factoring polynomials. In this section, we are going to factor and solve, just to keep an eye on that. So we have a cubic, and we're only used to factoring quadratic, so this is a little new concept for you. And we need to come up with a factor so that we can do synthetic division. So we got to come up with some possible factors. If you remember, it comes from the constant term. So some possible factors that we can work with and see one that works would be plus or minus 1 and plus or minus 3, because 1 and 3 gives you 3. We're going to test them until one works, and then we can go ahead and do synthetic. So we're going to try P of 1 first. So we're going to substitute 1 in. And when I substitute 1 in, I can see that this is not going to work, because you're going to get 2 minus 5 minus 4 plus 3. So 2 minus 5 would be negative 3. Minus 4 is negative 7. So right away we can see that we don't get 0. So this is no good. Then we're going to try negative 1, because it's plus or minus that we can check. Just to skip a little ahead, when we plug in negative 1 and you work out your algebra, you are going to see that this one actually does work. So you're going to get negative 2, you're going to get minus 5 plus 4 plus 3. In order to get 0, you want to have a couple of negatives, a couple of positives to cancel each other out. So this gives me 0. And if it equals 0, something special about this negative 1. It means x plus 1 is a factor. And it also means that equals negative 1 is an x-intercept. Now, we have something to start with. So we're going to use that to do our synthetic to break our cubic down into a quadratic. So we're going to start with negative 1, and we're going to do our synthetic. Okay, I'm just going to move this down a little bit. Here we go. So negative 1, we're going to put our coefficients in. So our coefficients are 2, negative 5, negative 4, and 3. So we got 2, negative 5, negative 4, and 3. Just to remind you, I know I'm going to get 0 remainder because I know negative 1 works. So you drop your 2, you get negative 2, negative 7 when you add, positive 7 when you multiply, 3 when you add, and negative 3. So there's my 0. And the coefficients here give me my quadratic. So my polynomial is going to be this factor here, which we already know is negative 1. So it's going to be x plus 1. These are my coefficients. So I know I'm going to get 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. Remind yourselves of how to factor that. You can use decomposition. You can use product sum, whatever works for you. So 2x minus 1, x minus 3 are my factors. So remember that word factors, which means my x-intercepts, you set it equal to 0. But I need to oh yes, I got it already factored. So I set them equal to 0. All right. So what are my values for my x-intercepts? I get negative 1, I get a half, and I get 3. And those are my x-intercepts. Notice how I have 3 of them, and there's 3 of them because I started with the cubic, and you can only have a maximum of 3.